First, I want to talk about why this is called Sawtown 5 instead of Sawtown 1. When I initially approached making these sounds, I didn't want to just make one version of a super saw. I wanted to make several just to see what kind of variety I could get. And it's probably been the most useful thing that I've been trying out lately. Give a listen to all the different variations of sawtooths that I made. And you can see right next to it, I have a little parentheses, and it says Fox Atlas. That's the song that I used as a reference, either to, straight up try to copy it or try to get influence from that and make something a little bit different. So that way, if I want the Wolfgang Gartner Space Junk sound, I can quickly pull that up and not try to remember which damn preset I used to make it. So the bullet point here is that you should really try to get as many versions of the same sound as you can, because you're going to get variety, you're going to get different macros. I mean, look at the different macro titles up here. Different with every single patch. So you want to try out lots of different things in terms of the routing, in terms of the filtering. It should all be different from patch to patch. For number 2, I would recommend looking up Togglehead because I got this technique from him. It's all about getting a cool tremolo that doesn't sound like a standard tremolo. First of all, it does have that wiggling effect, but it also has a little bit more character on the front end and the back end. So let me show you how I made that happen. For this one, it's pretty simple. It's only attached to the cutoff of our filter and the resonance, whatever, nothing too special there. But if I had used an LFO like we do all the time, it would have just sounded kind of like a standard wobble, if you slow it down. Okay, standard. So you can hear where we get that standard dubstep-y wub. But if you turn it up to 1/16th, it starts to become a pretty annoying wub, so pretty useless there. But if you use the performer instead of the LFO, you can see that you get a lot more desirable results. Up here, I've got this shape mixing with this shape. This shape gives it a stronger attack, kind of like a neutral wub. This gives it its classic wiggle, getting more drastic as we go from left to right. So put them together. So we started here, goes all the way back here using these shapes. And that's another example of when I like using the performer more than the LFO, because with an LFO, it's just not as fun. Oh, I'm sorry, that sucks. So that's number 2. All right, and for number 3, we're talking about creating a tone wub instead of a standard wobble. Wobbles are things that everybody likes, and normally it just sounds like a cutoff wobble, which just goes wob, wob, and it goes on and it goes off for the most part. Tone wub instead switches between 2 tones, so give it a listen. This is created by LFO 5 standard, and all the macros doing is turning it on. And so if you look at all the places that I've got LFO 5 attached, it's like 6, 7, 8. All it's doing is affecting things that change the tone. There's 2 modes on in the modulation oscillator. Check it out if those aren't on. You want to come up with as many spots as you can to try to affect the tone. Wavetable, position, and spectrum are 2 pretty easy ones, but you can even see here in spectrum, I had each oscillator being modulated at a different level than the others. This one goes all the way down, this one only comes up a little bit, and then this one's kind of halfway. That way, the tone gets drastically changed between each oscillator, and you get movement created throughout your sound. If you listen to what I did in the song, that movement is created literally just by that tone web. So if you try less of making wobbles the front and center aspect of a sound and make it more of a textural background thing, you can create a lot of movement, and you can get away with that during a lot of sections, a lot of patches, and it doesn't have to be like the middle of the drop. And another case for trying to use macros more, I want you guys to look at what happens here in my macro section as the buildup happens. The only other thing that I've got on this is just a low pass filter. So first I'm going to play what it would have sounded like with no automation, and then I'm going to turn it back on with our macros. Okay, and then with only a low pass filter and all of our macros, check it out. I guess I'm also cheating with this guy in here. This is another preset that I'll have to show you at another point in time. Last rant I'm going to go on is just to encourage you guys to try to make sure that with your intense, aggressive sounds, you can also match it with something that's softer. Because you're going to need both in pretty much every production you do. So you don't want to just be plowing through bass presets and then be like, oh, my breakdowns suck. So try to come up with both. I know the bass and the lead ones are a lot of fun, but I'll try to give you guys some of the softer ones too. So those are the 3 that I got for you today. Let me know if you have any questions. As always, if you have any mastering requests, send that to me via email. And I'll see you guys next time.